Hello guys, welcome to my first Devlog video. Yeah, with the new year comes new goals and new objectives, and in fact, kind of video I was planning to do it for a while, but I needed a little push from my wife, and here it is, the first episode. So, I'm planning to do this kind of video from time to time to give a quick update on things that I'm working on, projects that I'm um, changing code, implementing features, and things that I like to do. And on this first episode, I'm planning to speak about three topics. The first one is Stellar. The second one is one small post that I have done to my blog, and the last one is related with my most exciting project that I'm working right now, which is Initium. Okay, so let's move forward to the first project, Stellar. So for the ones that doesn't know what it is, Stellar is a modular action-based web framework written in JavaScript. In fact, I developed this project alone by myself in 2015, I believe. And this aims to be a very modular web framework to develop rapid prototypes of your web APIs, but also to be really, really easy to pick previous developed modules and bring into your new project without any code change. So since the beginning, I've been doing some small changes, small new features, and this time I upgraded the ORM that we use to access the database to a newest version. Okay, the database layer that we are using is based on the Sail.js framework. Okay, and this new version that we just upgraded to, um, in my honest opinion, has a lot of bad API decisions, and I really don't like it very much. So I'm planning on the future maybe drop support for Waterline, okay, which is the ORM that we are using. Um, yeah, maybe. But other than that, I'm also planning to do some small tests using Deno. For the ones who doesn't know, Deno is a secure runtime for JavaScript and TypeScript that uses V8 as the engine, but is fully built using Rust. Okay, it's a very, very secure runtime and alternative to Node.js. Yeah, so I already had done some small attempts of migrating the core to it almost or more than 1 year ago, I believe. But at that time, the core was really not on the not early stage, but not ready for production, and there was some lack of features and some bugs that I faced that I was not able to create a workaround. but I know that on this moment, at least those bugs are not present anymore, and this can be a really interesting way to move forward. Yeah, in fact, some time ago, some months ago, if I go to the GitHub repository, you can go to the feature slash new core branch, and we can see uh, that I was moving the old core into TypeScript. Okay, I rewrite the old core using TypeScript, and this was great and feels great to developers because the tools interpret the types, and I it was easier to refactor the code and doing change with less hurry of breaking something or doing something wrong or bad. But unfortunately, I didn't like the experience of using the framework as an end user or as the developer that will use Stellar to develop the new APIs or modules. And I stopped with the progress. I stopped migrating the rest of the modules. Uh, and Dano entered uh, on my head and creating a brainstorm. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah, moving on to the next topic. Um, yeah, my blog. Um, Last year, I created this Markdown-based blog that uses Zola to generate the full website based on Markdown. Okay, Zola is something like Exo and Hugo from Node, but is written in Rust. As you can see, I really love Rust. You will see, you will see. And on my blog, I just published last month, on the end of the month, on 29th, I share a SAS function, a really simple SAS function to convert pixels to RAM unities for web developers. Okay, it's a really, really simple trick, but it can save hours and brain synapses. Yeah. Okay. There is another blog post, interesting blog post for the ones who like low-level stuff, like create an app that runs on UFI, uh, and yeah, it's a really extensive blog posts, but I think it's quite interesting and funny to go through. And finally, let's move to our last topic, which is Initium. Yeah, from the start. In 2013, I believe, was the time that Initium was created. Yeah, some years ago, many, many years ago, I tried to create an operating system um, fully written in C and some parts in assembly to bootstrap and context switching between real and long mode, um, and protected mode, of course. And the high level stuff like the window server, the window manager, and user space threads and signals and that kind of stuff was written in C++. But I'm not a really huge fan of the language. Uh, really, really far from being a fan at all. Yeah. So at that time, I created a bootloader also written in C to bootstrap the machine and jump into the kernel. With that, I also developed a small protocol uh, that defines the needed sections on the elf file of the kernel uh, in order to uh, for the bootloader loads the kernel and the modules in the right place on the memory, the RAM. Okay, yeah, I end up moving that project into a dedicated repository, which is Initium. You can find both projects under my GitHub account, which is Jill0Mendes. Okay. And here, as you can see, I have a Rust branch. Okay. This Rust branch is a new project that I'm working on, and the goal is to move or rewrite the bootloader into Rust to make it safer, modern, and easy to refactor and add new features. Okay, and it's a huge challenge for me because I'm not a huge expert on the language on the Rust, but this project is bringing me so much knowledge and so much know-how of the language and of the on the compiler or checker that I couldn't get it from another way. Okay, I need to do complex stuff to learn things, and this is my complex challenge to myself in order to better learn Rust. Okay, so let's do a quick demo of it. If you go to your terminal, or my terminal in this case, we can run the VilPy script with the build and run arguments to start chemo chemo. I believe it's pronounced that way. A chemo instance with the bootloader in it. Okay. This is UFI, as you can see, and this is the current state of the bootloader. And on the side, you can see the serial port be outputting some useful information about the memory layout or the current memory layout of the UFI system. Okay. In fact, these ranges, I believe, that are the only the free ranges, not the ones downloaded by the firmware or other stuff. So this is all the places in the RAM. And this is physical address, okay, not virtual ones. This is the place in the RAM where I can load things um, or creating dynamic structures using the heap or loading things to memory in order to the kernel pickup later or something like that. Okay, so on the actual virtual machine, we can see a simple list menu with some choices. This is hard coded right now, but I can move my selection around. For example, if I tap at the down arrow, I can go down, up. Okay, if I hit the boundary of the list, the choice moves to the other hand of the list. Okay, you see it? I click down, it goes to the first position. If I'm on the first position and I hit up, it goes to the last position. Okay. So here we have a lot of components already implemented to do this. We have memory management and dynamic allocation. We have serial support. We have text output support. In fact, this is using frame buffering. Okay, so I'm able to draw anything on the screen if I want. I can, for example, load the image. Of course, I need to implement the decoder for the image, but I can draw an image using the frame buffer. Okay, and we have text input or support, keyboard support to read things from the keyboard. Okay, yeah. We can do a quick dive into. Let's just close this. The diving into the current codes. Let's see this as well. Collapse everything. Okay, I'm splitting the code from common code common to all types of platforms, architectures, and platforms, and the main code sits under source. Okay. Yeah. So for now, I just support UFI and X8664 architecture or AMD 64 architecture. Okay, and right now I can, since I'm using UFI, it's really easy to directly jump into Rust code. Okay, because I'm using a crate, which is what it is, UFI RS, and the UFI crate already implements a lot of code to query the firmware to getting access to handlers for a specific protocol. Okay, and we can see the entry point here. Okay, EFI main function. Okay, we just initialized the arch codes, like the timers and that kind of stuff. Okay, we save the address of the system table, the UFI system table, to use later. We initialize the serial port, and we initialize the allocator to do dynamic memory allocation. Okay. Then we check if the hardware is ported, the version of the UFI, and we start the memory management and video and console management, output and input. Okay. After this, we jump into the abstract code that can be used on every platform and by any platform and any architecture. Okay. Okay, let me show the entry point. Okay, the entry point is this one, load main. Here I initialize the console. This will reset the output, cleaning all the shelters that are displaying on the screen, adjust the resolution, and then I'm doing the test stuff for the window, the list window that I just shown to you. Yeah, and this is the code to add the entries. As you can see, this is fully dynamic, and I can, for example, read a charter from the reports and present on the screen. For example, we put the code to do it. Okay. I think this is more than enough. Let's build. Key cannot format. Okay, yeah. I changed the logic around the key reading. Let's just match the key against printable jar. Okay, move this in. Let's ignore the rest of the matches and create a loop just for the output don't be cleared by the window handler. Let's see if this works. Yeah, let's compile it, and now the code is waiting for a key press. Let's hit H, and as you can see, we see an H on the screen. Okay, now the system is altered because enter in the infinite loop as I requested. So this is the current state of the bootloader Rust version, and this everything for this first video. Please leave a like on the video if you like, subscribe to get more of these, and comment and see the things that questions and things that we would like to see on the channel or in the future video, on the future devlog video. Okay, see you guys, have a nice one.